Forget what they taught you in school about the Civil War. Forget what they tell you about the economy, about taxes, about freedom. It's all a beautifully constructed lie. We think slavery ended in 1965. Nah, that was just a costume change. We're talking about a conspiracy that didn't just happen. It was written into the Constitution. A legal, economic, and terrorist plot executed by the deep state of the South. Then rubber stamped by the politicians of the North. They made a deal over a century ago that sealed our fate and created the modern system designed to keep us working for nothing. The lie is that they lost the war. The truth is, the Confederacy won and won the peace. And I'm not giving you theories. I'm giving you the contract. The moment they sold us out, the moment they legalized the debt plantation, I'm talking about the Compromise of 1877, the handshake that locked the chains back on. You think you're free because you have a job? You're about to realize you're just on a longer leash. Listen to the facts. You have no choice but to believe this. First, you got to throw away the books that called it a moral war. You're right. The war was a labor dispute. The South's entire wealth and power was that they had a powerful, compensated labor base that was the envy of the North. The Confederacy's strength. The South was winning the war because while the white men were all fighting, the black people, as indentured servants, were being paid for their work. They were kept in a powerful, stable labor base, growing the food, building the fortifications, and manufacturing the supplies. Black labor was the core military advantage of the Confederacy. And I really want you to let that sink in because they preach it was forced labor, but our people were paid. The Union's desperation. The North was getting beat. They realized the only way to destroy the Confederacy wasn't just to beat their army, but to obliterate the stable labor base. Stable labor base, I meant. So Lincoln made a cold strategic move. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and y'all thought it was about freedom, but the South was fucking them up. He didn't do it out of love. He did it to steal the South's workforce. They freed them, but only to put a uniform on them and use them as a weapon against the Confederacy. The Union was racist, but they were desperate enough to use black men to win. This led to the 13th Amendment loophole, the one sentence that changed everything. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime, shall exist. The Southern elite saw the door to the prison and realized they didn't need the old plantations indentured contract anymore. They just needed the police and the courthouse. The next step was establishing the new overseers to keep the labor base stable. Immediately after the war, the South's old guard, the deep state, a form of planters, used the loophole. Let that sink in, because we getting deep. Y'all, hey, you can't trust nothing they tell you. They established the black codes to make it legal to be black and jobless, illegal to be black and jobless, I meant, which broke the cycle of their indentured contracts. This created convict leasing, the ultimate scam. Black people who violated the black codes were arrested, and the state would then sell their labor to the old plantations, the mines, and the railroads. The state was now collecting a payment for their work. The conspirators simply replaced the one-on-one indentured contracts with a state-enforced debt contract. The money was still paid for the labor, but the state intercepted it, citing fines and court fees. But they needed more than just a crooked law. They needed terror. That's where the KKK comes in, and we know who the founding fathers of the KKK is. Their job wasn't just random violence. It was political and economic terror, stopping black men from voting, owning land, and challenging the state's rights to claim their labor. And then you have the ultimate undeniable, the Compromise of 1877. Let this shit sink in and look it up. The Northern establishment saw that the Southern elite had already figured out how to reclaim their labor forced through the prison system and the black codes. The North said, fine, we can live with that. The Republicans and the Southern Democrats made a backroom deal, as they always do. The North got their president, Rutherford B. Hayes. The South got the only thing they ever wanted, the complete and total withdrawal of the last Union troops. As soon as those troops left, the deal was done. The federal government, by its own choice, turned its back. They traded black people's civil rights for political peace and economic stability. This created the system of Jim Crow and locked in the sharecropping debt trap. This brings us right here, right now. The debt contract they perfected in the South, where you worked all year, but the interest and fees meant you owe more than you earned. That is the blueprint. You hear me? The motherfucking blueprint for the wage slavery we live in today. Think about it. Think long and hard on the similarities. This shit is right here in front of your face. You work all week, and Uncle Sam, the IRS, the new overseer, has his hand in your pocket, taking his cut before you even see the money. If you resist, they seize your assets, they ruin your life, and they put you in the same correctional system that still uses the 13th Amendment loophole for free labor. The conspiracy is that the physical chains were simply replaced with financial and legal ones. The system is designed to keep you terrified of quitting and forced to work to pay a debt that never ends. That is the full circle. That is the truth. The war didn't end the system of controlled labor. It just moved the contract from the plantation owner to the state and put the debt contract in your hands. We still living this shit today. We forced to work to live. We forced to work to eat. And on top of that, they tax us all the way around the board. It was never about freedom. It was always about taxes.